This no. This is 1080p. Yeah, 1080p. I see it right here. Okay.
Okay.
But anyways, welcome back everybody to the Stay in Your Lane podcast. I'm your host Gunnar Lane, and I got a buddy with me today. His name is. Go ahead, and introduce yourself.
Well, most call me Scoob, but a lot of people know me as Nathan. Nathan Lucas is the name.
No, he is Nathan my whole life.
Yep. And I somehow earned the nickname Scoob just because I ate so much, and I could just shovel food into my mouth like it was nothing when I was younger, and now
I feel that.
made some music, and then that's the name now.
So you're Scoob.
Yeah.
So that's you got it from literally being a kid eating all the time.
Yeah, man. It was just I would go out to like CC's Pizza with my brother, and I'd get like 9 plates of pizza, and I'd have like 3 plates of dessert on top of that with like 4 drinks.
Heck yeah.
And I would devour. And that was when I was like 14, 15 years old, man. And that's when I started going with the name.
Amen. I mean, okay, CC's Pizza, first of all. Did you hear it closed down?
I didn't.
It closed down. The one in Florence closed down the other day.
What?
Yeah, apparently it's like, it was out of temp. Everything was out of temp. And
Oh, wow.
yeah. So, but bye-bye.
I actually went to a pizza buffet today. I went to
Did you?
Hometown Pizza in Muscle Shoals.
Ooh, I like that place.
Yeah, I had that place for lunch.
Did you go to the new location? Are they still at the old location?
Where was the old location?
It was in downtown Tuscumbia by Spring Park.
Oh, no. This one's right by
The old Pizza
Swamp
Hut.
John's. Yeah, the
old Pizza Hut,
yeah.
yeah. Funny thing about that building is there was a time when I was in car business and like I just kind of started fresh working at Hyundai, and then I had this guy reach out to me. He's like, I want you to be my sales manager. And they turned that Pizza Hut into a car dealership for a small period of time. And I'm glad I never took that option because
Wow.
I'd have been broke the next week, I guess. But I was always surprised to see a Pizza Hut turn into a small car lot. Welcome to Alabama. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, that's just so weird. Why turn that into a car dealership? There's not even a great parking system to display a vehicle out there. So when I saw it, I was like, down the road is another building for rent. Why don't y'all just see about that one? And it had a full parking lot out front.
Yeah, now they got car lots all over the place out there.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Have you seen the mystery machine, the jacked up mystery machine?
Dude, I know. What's that, Gardner's Auto Sales or something like that? I can't remember.
I'm not even
No,
sure,
it's not.
But
That thing's been out there for a minute.
that thing is
Hey,
a
listen,
beast,
that's
man.
what you need to get. You need to get you the Scooby machine, and Scoob drives it.
Yeah.
See, I always thought your name was off of something like with Scooby Doo, and I just never really knew.
Yeah, no, there was a little bit of meaning behind it. But when I started making music, that's when people really started knowing me as Scoob.
As Scoob, yeah.
Yeah, because it was just like my close friends would call me that, and then
Yeah.
once I got out into the street, I guess you would say, and started putting a little bit of music out there and making acquaintances with a lot of different people, I would introduce myself as Scoob.
Right.
So
Let's go back for a minute. Let's go back. So how old was you when you started making music?
I was 14 or 15 years old.
14, 15-year-old?
Yeah.
All right, let's bring JJ Alfaro. Is that kind of who you started making music with?
No.
No. Okay.
No. I did it all by myself. Actually, no, I can't say that. So you remember AJ Blackledge?
Yeah.
Okay. That's my boy. All right. Shout out 40. All right. Shout out 40 Montana. So, I was 14. I think I was 14 years old, and we was sitting in my living room, and I was in the recliner. He was on the couch, and he's like, "Hey, man!" And he just found this beat, and he's like, I think you should hop on this beat.
Yeah.
I think you would sound fire on this beat."
Yeah.
And we listened to a lot of music at the time. We listened to a lot of rap music, and he said, "Man," and I would freestyle a little bit sometimes. And he said, "Man, I think you should just hop on this beat and try it." I said, "Man, nah, I don't think I could do it." He said, No, try something. So he put the beat on. And I got on the beat and started freestyling. And when I started freestyling, he was like, "Man, that was fire." He was like, "That was epic, dude. You got to write it down. Like, you got to
Yeah.
write it down right now." So I wrote it down, and then we walked down the road at the little church that's beside my house. And I sat on the front steps of that church because it was closed down at the time, So I sat out there and recorded my first song, which I guess it wasn't a church then at the time, but it was previously one.
Yeah.
But I sat out there and recorded my first song, and I tried it multiple different ways before that, but the only way I could get it to sound good was in a space that didn't have echo, and that was outside
Right.
at the time.
Was it the little white church?
Yep.
I know which one you're talking about. Okay, so what was your first song that you ever made?
I believe it was Uh, what was it called? What was it called, man? I don't know. It was some. It had to have been some vulgar name, like
I
some
was about to
crazy.
say I've listened to your
Like
songs and yeah,
this was.
some
But this was when I was young, dude. I had no filter at all. I didn't know how to flow. I
right.
didn't have any hold back at all. It was just. It sounded really trashy.
Well, hey, you got to start somewhere. And
Yeah.
you know, eventually you'll end up on the iPhone recording to a studio recording.
Yep.
I mean, that's everywhere. That's everybody that gets in these kind of industries. You start somewhere,
Yeah.
even if it's, you know, in a basement with five other friends and you don't know what the heck you're talking about half the time.
Yeah, and even like all of the songs that I've made, believe it or not, every single one of them that I've put out have been made on my iPhone with a
Yeah.
pair of Apple earbuds.
Hey, that's where you go, man.
Yep,
So, do you have a favorite song necessarily?
I do. I
Well, let me
do.
ask you this. Like, is there a song that's really heartfelt to you? Is there a song that
Like one of
like
mine?
deep, yeah, that you know, it touches you so much?
Yes. I have a song that I put out on what is it? What was it called? Um it was one of my first EPs that I put out.
Uh-huh.
But I believe it was called Music We Trust was the name of it.
Tell me
And
about it.
so it was just a culmination of songs
Mhm.
that I was working on at the time. I thought they sounded really good, and a couple of them actually did. But the song that I'm talking about was called For You. And I put it out in remembrance of my dad. He had passed away recently at that time. And I put it out, and I just I want to say a day after he had died, I just made
Just
that
let it
song.
out.
Yeah, I just let that song out on the track. I just let it out on the beat, and
Yeah.
that was what came of it. It was beautiful, and everybody told me at that time when I released it that they could tell I put emotion into it, and then therefore, like from that point on, I tried to put more emotion into my music.
Yeah, definitely emotion. It really can touch you when you're listening to that kind of stuff. And especially like you spit bars, you know. So I think that's kind of where a lot of artists like that can really touch us as people that, you know, don't sing. We don't sing. We just like rather listen and, you
Yeah,
know, kind of feel what you're feeling at that moment.
yeah.
And well, you know, you brought up your dad. I'm sorry about your dad passing away.
Oh
Kevin was a
man,
good guy.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. Do you think did he like your music?
He did. He
He
loved my
did, yeah.
music, man. He was always jamming my tracks,
Yeah.
and he always believed in me. That was one thing he always made sure that I knew, that he believed in me, and he always told me I was gonna go far, and he was gonna be there with me regardless.
Yeah, so he was definitely a supporter, dude. That's
Yeah.
great to have a parent that supports.
Yes, sir.
That's me. I have my mom, dude, and she's all about this stuff. So it's
Yeah.
always amazing, man.
My mom, she supports my music. She just wishes it wasn't so vulgar.
Well, it's like I told you a couple months ago, you know, I don't mind playing your music. You just got to give me a clean version. But I
Yeah.
understand though, and you know, the thing is with the language, okay, I don't it don't bother me to hear it. I don't understand why people have such a big issue with it
Yeah.
when they're probably at home with not a phone on or anything, and they're probably out there cussing like a sailor
Yeah.
too.
Being vulgar
Yeah.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet when they're out there and they're hit their, you know, their finger with a hammer or something, I bet, yeah, I bet
Yeah.
they're not saying "darn it, tarnation." I'd be a son of a, you know, that's probably what they're saying more than
It
anything.
comes out. Yeah.
But, well, yeah, like your music career, you know, I'm proud of it. I think there's a song that I can remember right now, and it's 81.
81. Yeah.
81. I grew up
Yeah.
on 81 too, so you know that's how
Yes,
I.
sir.
Can you tell me a bit about that song? I can't remember it fully at the moment in my head,
Yeah.
but I just remember 81. You know, I can remember that.
So it started off with grew up on 81. All right,
Hmm.
was 17, had my first gun, started out making runs. All right. So I'm not gonna get too deep into that, but it was when I had got 17, I had gotten my first gun.
Yeah.
That was part of it. But I also grew up on 81. That was, I mean, but there's a lot more to that song that I don't know if I want to get into,
Yeah, that's okay. That's
too deep
okay. Yeah,
about it.
whoa, whoa, whoa. It's all
But
right.
but the song was it was upbeat, and I was really just trying to find something upbeat, something catchy, something that could grab people's attention, something that sounded different,
Yeah, definitely.
not just monochromatic and not just plain Jane. I wanted something different. So I started experimenting with different beats around that time. And that was, I think, a Young Boy Never Broke Again type
Yeah,
beat.
yeah.
And yeah, it was pretty interesting to make that song. It was fun, definitely fun.
On Band Lab.
Oh yeah, on BandLab, dude, with a pair with a pair of Apple earbuds. I recorded that
Hey.
one in my car.
You did.
I
Okay, cool.
did,
Hey,
yeah.
a car is actually a good place to record.
It
If you're in a
is.
quiet spot and like, in a parking lot or your own
Hmm.
driveway, I mean, it's got carpets surrounded all around you. You literally have carpets. I don't know if you had leather seats or not, but I mean, that's still a great place to
It
record.
is, man. It's like soundproof in a car, dude. Like
Yeah.
you can get in there and it just sounds clean.
Yeah.
And eventually I upgraded a little bit my recording process. I got a pop filter
Yeah.
and I also had a little like a foam kind of bend around thing to go around the backside of the microphone.
Hmm.
So it blocked out sound even more from it and kept my voice from reverberating off of what was behind it. And I was recording in my car at work whenever I was doing security. And
You did security.
yeah, I was a security guard for a little while,
Oh
man.
Lord. Okay.
It was it was the easiest job anyone could ever have, I believe.
How much does that pay?
At the time, I think I was getting paid like $15 an hour to do
Oh, okay.
security,
Yeah.
but I was only working Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah.
It was 12
So,
it was 12-hour shift, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
so you got
And
24 hours for the
yeah,
week.
so the $15 an hour, kind of made it work a little bit.
Yeah.
But
That
at the
didn't work a
same
bit.
time, I had other ways of getting money, and I was taking trips to California like every other month, and I was having a good time, enjoying life.
Yeah, definitely.
Just
How's California?
California's amazing, dude. I don't know about right now. I think
Mhm.
right now there's some pretty hefty stuff going on over there, but at the time, California was amazing. I
Yeah.
went out to the Bay Area, got to see the Golden Gate Bridge. I got to see Monterey. I actually got to go to LA one time and go to Six Flags while I was out there.
Cool.
It was pretty fun. I recorded my first music video in Vallejo in California.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's tornado season. It's on YouTube.
Okay, I need to look that up because I haven't seen that. That's a cool thing though, getting to go to California and how old are you? 22, 23,
22, yeah.
22. So literally young enough, you're exploring out
Yeah.
there. Oh man, I can't wait to go to California eventually.
I think I was 20 years old the first time I went out to California.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wasn't quite old enough to hit the dispos yet, but
Hey, interesting fact, I turned 21 on an airplane.
really?
Yeah. So I went to London, England on my birthday.
Oh, wow.
And I left on
How was
December.
that?
Well, you know my sister Whitney?
Yeah.
She lives in London now. She's
What?
lived over there for like 5 years now.
No way.
Yeah, yeah,
Dude, that's crazy.
yeah. So they've been over there since 2019, and back in when was it? So if I turned 21, okay, been 2021 because I go by the year because that's how I remember my birthday. But so yeah, I was on December 18th. I left from Atlanta to go over to London, and it turned after midnight. December 19th.
Yeah.
And I remember this British woman was sitting beside me, and I was like, "It's my birthday," and she's like, "We got to do a shot." And I was like, "All right, bet." So they didn't have shots on the airplane, but they had like little bottles of
Yeah,
wine.
yeah, the little tiny bottles.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't had wine before. I've never had wine. And that was like the
No?
nastiest thing I've ever. I mean, for the first time,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
trying it, like shooting it kind of.
yeah.
She's like, yummy.
Was it red wine?
Yes, it was red
Yeah,
wine.
red wine's pretty
But
nasty.
it was, yeah, it wasn't something that I would be interested in trying again as far as wine goes. I've
Yeah.
had a mulled wine now. That's delicious.
Mold wine?
Mulled wine. So when I was in London,
Hmm.
it was during Christmas. This is kind of more of a seasonal drink.
Yeah.
It's in a crock pot. I
What?
know. So they put wine in a crock pot and
Okay.
they put like cinnamon, apple slices, stuff like that, and it just simmers all day. Oh my gosh, dude. Just pour it into a cup and like we went to this pub beside their house and man, that thing was so good.
So how do they like ferment it or whatever? Like how
I'm
does
not
it
sure.
produce does it produce any actual alcohol that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think they keep it. I think if it's on like probably a certain temperature, I suppose that doesn't make it burn. I'm not really sure how that works.
So I know like from growing up my dad would make wine
Yeah,
and he would like put a bunch of fruit in a jug with like a
yeah,
bunch of sugar and like stick a rubber glove over the top of it and he would leave it out and like it would sit and ferment and that's how
yeah,
it would produce the alcohol content.
yeah, yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, I know I never got like woozy with it, so it may not even
Yeah.
really had nothing else in it at that point. Because I feel like what they did is just probably went and got like 3 bottles of wine and just poured it into
Ah,
the crock
okay.
pot and then added the cinnamon.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like I said, I've never had it over here. I've never seen it advertised over here, but over there they loved it. And like everywhere we went, like we'd go to, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like the Times Square of New York. It's the
Yeah.
Times Square of London, whatever. Went there, literally every shop had mulled wine, mulled wine, mulled wine.
Oh, cool.
So They drank so much over there.
Is the Big Ben over there? That big old
Big
clock
Ben.
tower? Did you
Yep.
get to see
I
that?
did get to see it. It was under construction when I went, but there's a thing called the London Eye. I don't know if you ever saw it
No,
before,
I haven't.
but it's over there by Big Ben, and it's like the river that goes through. You just go on Big Ben. It's like a big old Ferris wheel.
Oh wow.
So I got to really see London really high up, and it was honestly, it was really cool. I am so glad. I'm actually going back this Christmas as well. Actually, I don't know if I'm going yet. I might be going in January. Depends on work schedule. So
That's awesome, man.
yeah,
See, out in Santa Cruz, I went to Santa Cruz one time
yeah,
out in California. So they have the boardwalk out there.
yeah.
And I don't know if you've heard about it or seen anything, but
Mm-mm.
if you've ever watched the movie Us, it's about the girl who gets lost underneath the boardwalk and
Okay.
she basically gets replaced and it's like a whole load of like clone people living underneath the city and it goes out throughout the entire world.
Yeah.
But either way, that was recorded, filmed in Santa Monica or not Santa Monica, Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that was filmed at the boardwalk. So at the boardwalk they have this kind of Ferris wheel type deal, but it's not a Ferris wheel. It's kind of like a ski lift,
Okay.
but it goes around the whole pier and the whole boardwalk, and it's like it was nice, dude. The only thing I didn't like about it, it was super super hot out there, but when you got into the water at the beach, it was so cold you couldn't get in the water.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's like steaming hot, but really cold.
Yes, like the water was really cold, but it was super
Well, let me
hot out
ask you.
there.
Okay, you've been to like Gulf Shores here.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about like that water compared to, is it the Pacific? I can't remember.
So yeah, I believe the Pacific Ocean is yeah, I believe it is the Pacific over to the left, the
I,
Pacific Northwest.
and we're in the Atlantic
Yeah,
Ocean.
we're over here under the hold on. The Atlantic is on the East Coast,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, I think it was the Pacific. But I know from the Arctic Ocean up there at the top, like around Russia and
Yeah.
Alaska and whatnot, the water flows down
Yeah.
to uh the coastline of California. So all
Oh,
that cold water stays there year round. It's always cold out there, the water
wow.
is. But I mean, the water is always cold. And that's another reason why it's so dry out there. Because in the winter, you know how it's so dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wind's all coming down from them ice shelves and it keeps the air dry out in California. Because there's so much water, you'd think with there being so much water and the sun out all the time that it would be humid.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not like it is out here because we don't have cold water coming in. We have the Gulf below us.
Yeah. Literally, it just brings in all this freaking steam and hot
Yeah,
crap.
all them hurricanes and everything, man.
Yeah.
They don't have hurricanes over there.
Didn't they have one last year for the first time? And like, I think it was like in the last like 400 years or something. They had one small one that just
Oh, a
stirred up. I
really
don't know.
small one,
Yeah, I think it's like a size one or whatever they call it. I don't remember.
like a category.
Category, yeah,
Yeah,
category
category
one.
one or whatever.
Yeah. But okay, let me ask you this. So you went to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Did you feel like it was in Grand Theft Auto?
No,
No.
no.
Okay.
Although I did go to West LA. Uh,
Yeah.
it was a pretty wild experience. So my first time ever going to a bar out in LA, I got out there and I was 20 at the time. I wasn't old enough to get into a bar, but we walked up to the bar, like to the bouncer, and we tried to go to one, and they was like, "Let me see your IDs." So we pulled out our IDs, and they was like, "Okay, you're not old enough to be in here." And I'm like, "Okay, all right, cool."
Yeah, yeah, I've been
So
there before.
we went to the next one, and I said, "All right, let's have our IDs ready. Let's have them ready to show these guys." So we had our IDs ready. We walked up and flashed them to him, and he was like, "You're good. Go on in." So we got in there, and I was like, "All right, let's get to the bar, buy some drinks or whatever." So I bought us a couple drinks, and we went upstairs. There was nobody upstairs. So we went upstairs and sat down, and I'll never forget this, man. It was the wildest experience ever. It was so crazy. We get up there, and I wasn't paying attention to the music or anything. I was just focused on the people I was with. And so we're sitting up there talking, and then this curtain comes open, just opens up.
Okay.
This drag queen steps out, dude. This they them, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it. This person steps out, and I just look over, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like, where are we right now?
What
Like,
the?
what the hell is going on? So, uh, I start paying attention to my surroundings more at that moment, and I listen. And the song that's playing is "Under the Sea" from The Little Mermaid.
Okay.
So then I'm like, hold up, something ain't right. So I walk over to the balcony and I look down, nothing but dudes, all in the bar, dude.
Nathan.
Yeah, nothing but dudes. Yes, man. For my first time ever going in a bar in California, and I looked around and I'm like, oh no, we gotta go. Like
Hey.
we gotta get out of here, man. Like I don't feel comfortable anymore. It was like I was just like, man, there's too many people in here. Like,
They're wanting you to order a
man.
Shirley Temple or something.
Yeah, it's nothing against nobody, who is just like I didn't feel comfortable surrounded by that many of them. It was like not my place. So I went to leave, and the girl that I was with at the time, we was there for her best friend's birthday, and her best friend was like, "No, I want to stay and watch the show because that."
Oh yeah, so it's a drag show they were having.
Yes, they was having a little drag show out in the very front, and yeah, she wanted to stay and watch it. So you know, we had to stay. They watched it. I didn't really watch, but they watched, and we left.
Like you're just on your phone over there, like, yeah, cool, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, okay, cool. You guys do your thing.
Like really? But
But
okay,
it
well,
was an insane experience. Magic Mountain was fun though. Magic Mountain's the Six Flags.
yeah. Okay,
It was
so
very fun.
I've never I do want to go to California one day when it's not on fire or riots is breaking out, anything like that, I mean, just I mean, I don't understand what they're fighting for, but that's another topic for another day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I mean, I can kind of understand where some of those people are coming from as far as, wanting to peacefully protest. But
mhm.
the crazy out of hand stuff, that's too
Well, see, to
much.
me, I don't understand why people like want to burn down buildings.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
that's like a mom and pop shop in those buildings some.
yeah. People, spend their whole career trying to build up their business to, provide for their family and
Yeah.
whatnot. And there's a lot of stories behind these every business.
Well, think of it like this studio right here. I mean,
Yeah,
like, what if I had a building, had all the studio plus another what, $100,000 worth of equipment?
yeah. And you came from what, a laptop and
Yeah,
some headphones and a microphone,
literally.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And then, I
that,
mean, that'd be it.
and if somebody lit that thing on fire, man,
Well,
all
I'd be so
because he
mad.
was talking about something that they didn't like.
Dude, that's like one thing I've always said. If I ever own a radio station, I'm having cameras around that son of a gun like crazy.
Yep.
Because even like my antenna towers, like, dude, people steal the copper out of those things like crazy.
What?
Dude, there was a guy that got shocked not too long ago. He was trying to steal one out in Tennessee, but it was for a Florence station
Wow.
because the way the antenna signals work and everything. It was in Tennessee, just across the state line, and
Yeah,
he was out there trying to cut it, and it shocked him.
man.
He got away though.
Wow. Shout out to the crackheads, dude.
I don't know how he did it, but yeah, I mean, he didn't get away with a lot of copper, but he got away with a big shock.
Man,
So,
if these guys want copper, they should just go find a big old coil laying on the side of the road.
literally,
Like they're
dude, like
laying
you can
all
go to
over the
these
place.
like Spectrum places and stuff. They have literally all these old cable are pulling out and stuff.
Yeah.
Heck, where I work, we pull out a lot of cable and stuff. Cat 5, Cat 6, or
Not to
whatever.
mention, and I'm not saying this is okay. I'm not condoning it, but all the linemen that like lay their cable out
Yeah.
weeks and like a week prior to them actually starting their job,
I know, yeah.
they'll just lay a giant roll of it out on the side of the road, and
I've said I wonder what it'd be like just to take that and just go with it,
mean,
which I don't want to steal it. I ain't got no use for it.
it would make a lot of money, I'm sure, if you stripped it all down.
I was about to say you'd have to chop that up so it didn't look like you just went over there and uncoiled it all. So
Yep.
that stuff's crazy, man. I don't know. By the way, going back to London for a moment. So the reason I'm going back to London, obviously I want to go see my family,
Yeah.
but I'm going to be an uncle.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Whitney,
yeah,
congratulations.
thank
Hey,
you. So
congratulations, Whitney, if you're listening.
yeah, her and Beth are having a baby. So
That's awesome,
yeah,
man.
I'm excited for it. It's going to be really fun. They're having a little girl. We just found out the other day.
Do they have any names picked out or anything yet?
Well, I told them if it was gonna be a boy, go with Gunner. But I told them they couldn't really do a female as Gunner because it had to be called Gunneria,
Yeah.
and I don't think they really want that as a baby name.
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
actually mentioned that the other day, and they're like, Gunner, no.
That's awful, dude.
But in other news, are you ready to share this?
Oh yeah, man, I've been ready for a long
Okay,
time.
I didn't know if y'all shared it on
Yeah,
Facebook.
yeah.
Okay, you're gonna be a dad.
I am. I'm fixing to be a father in about a month's time.
Oh wow, is that? I didn't realize it was that close now.
In about a month or less, dude. She could pop any day, honestly.
Yeah, you're having a little boy.
Little boy, yes, sir.
What you gonna name it?
Elijah Blake Lee.
A Blakely. Oh yeah,
And
man.
Blake hyphen Lee. It's not gonna be Blakely, just
Oh, Blakely's Blake Lee.
yep.
Oh,
So
cool.
Blake is my brother's middle name, and
Yeah.
Lee, mine. So had to throw those in together, and I really highly respect my brother.
Yeah.
What he did for his family, it's it's honorable. I mean, he went through a lot.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, your brother's a good man. I've known him, God, as long as I've known you. So
Yeah, we
it's
grew up
crazy,
together,
man.
man,
Yeah.
riding the same bus.
Oh, 0939.
0939,
That's
yes
how I'll
sir.
remember it. So,
Yep.
and then it was like 1930, but I never rode that bus. There was an older bus though we used to ride, dude. I remember it was an old, but it was like a 1994 model. Do you remember that sometimes?
Yeah, it was the backup
The
bus.
backup bus when that bus
Yeah.
tore up and it was like
Yep.
hot on that thing, man.
Front
I hated it,
AC.
dude.
Yeah, no, it was awful. Not to
Mm-mm.
mention that old mean bus driver that we had.
What was her name? So we used to have
So
Miss
Janice was a good one.
Janice
She
was
was
really
awesome.
sweet. We love
She was a
Janice. We
very
love you,
nice
Janice.
lady. Um, the other one, she had like black hair, I want to say.
Okay, so there was Miss Tina.
Yeah, she was a good one.
Did
Miss
you have
Tina
Miss
was
Shelby?
Miss Shelby. No, we
I
didn't.
had her in kindergarten. I don't think I had her after that. Christy Smith, Miss Smith.
Oh, snap. You talking about our teacher?
Not the teacher. She was also named Christy Smith, though.
Oh,
But she was our bus driver for a couple of years. Because I remember, like in fourth grade, her and her husband taking us on a field trip and
okay.
everything.
Did she
Uh,
have like the
She lived
half
not too
cut?
far from here. She lived on County Line Road. You know
Oh,
where Cody Farmer
yeah,
lives? Those chicken houses?
yeah.
She lived like right beside those chicken houses.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy that I know that, but
Really small town, man.
I know it's crazy how small this
Which I
town is.
mean, this is a very small town. We don't even live in Russellville. This is the outskirts,
I know, dude.
and
This is the
everybody
burg.
out, yeah, everybody out here knows everybody in the burg.
Ain't that the truth? But
Everybody. It's like you can almost hear people taking a dump. We're so close.
I've heard it before. Or look, I know when some families across from here, my family down the road, when they get in little arguments outside, you can hear it sometimes, and
Yeah.
it's very loud up here. I don't know if it's because like I live on a hill and it just sound travels up.
Yeah.
So I can hear them though sometimes when they're
Dude,
arguing.
I've heard a story before about this guy that lives over here in the little shack that was once a shack. I've heard a
Cuban guy?
story about this guy
Oh
before.
yeah,
Yeah, you ready for this?
go ahead.
Okay. Someone told me they was once a mail deliverer. They ran a mail route, and they was out delivering mail and caught this guy having intercourse with a
Oh.
goat.
Oh, okay. I did not know it was taking that route.
Yeah, with a goat on his front porch. And the guy who was delivering the mail was just
Yeah, I just see that.
what? And he kind of just looked at him, and the dude looked at him and was like, kept going. Looked at him for a sec. He said he looked at him for a second, just kept going, like he was unashamed of it. That's
Yeah, he's from another country.
that's pretty wild, man.
I've heard about like him getting on horses to do his deliveries
Yeah.
back in the day. This was like 10 years ago. Excuse me. And he would make his deliveries down the road and meet his people there on a
Damn.
horse.
On a horse.
On a horse.
Wow.
He used not to have a vehicle for a long time, so he had a horse.
Old Apache type style.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption style. That's what I call it. So
Yeah, RDR,
yeah,
man.
Dutch. Anyways, beside the point.
I still play RDR.
Do you play one or two?
Two.
Two.
Play
I've never played one yet.
No?
I don't have a device or it's
Yeah.
not on PlayStation or
Oh
nothing.
man,
So
you can get it on Xbox still.
you can.
On the newer Xboxes, yeah.
Cool.
You can play games from the original Xbox on the
Yeah.
new ones.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it's like I wish PlayStation would do that because I have like a ton of PS3 games back in the day.
Oh wow.
I have some of John Vick's old PlayStation 3 games.
Shout out to Jay Wick, man.
What up, Jay Vick? I ain't seen him in a minute, dude.
Yeah, that's my boy.
How's he been? Have you heard from him lately?
Yeah, he's doing good. He found God.
Yeah.
He started going to church, found God, got baptized,
Yeah.
and changed his life around. He was pretty rough back in the day on some rougher
Stuff.
things. I don't want to say he was doing
Right.
drugs or anything like that, because that's not really what we're talking about. But he was just in a different mindset.
Yeah.
He was in a different mindset of state of being, and now that he's found God, he's elevated himself.
Yeah, he really has.
Yeah.
I checked on him a couple of weeks ago when his niece or nephew was being born. I think it was nephew being born because his sister, she almost passed away that night.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
like that she kept bleeding and stuff from her like whatever I don't know something inside of her she was bleeding from, and they was like had to hurry and transfer to some other big hospital. And I was just like, "Hey, John Vic, you all right, man?" And he's like, "I'm trying, man. I'm just driving around because I'm mad." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Of
He was.
course he's driving around because
Yeah.
that's John Vic." I
Yeah.
taught him that, I think, though, because I used to go riding around these streets of Newburgh when I
Yeah.
was young.
Dude,
The loot,
we would
dude.
ride with you sometimes,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
I remember when you got your Ford Ranger,
Oh yeah,
and we would
man.
ride with you in the Danger Ranger, man.
Danger Ranger. That became the Holy Roller, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I named it the Holy Roller because Savannah, our cousin, I forgot to mean, I believe we're family, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember one time we were up here at this church, and this preacher, he was like a guest preacher, or whatever, and he came out there and started talking to Savannah. And he's like, "You giving your life to the Lord yet?" And she's like, "No." And we're just sitting in my truck. And he put his hands out there and prayed for her and said, "Well, I baptize you, even though there's not holy water right now. I baptized you." And she became a follower that day in my truck. So it's the holy
Oh
roller
wow.
now.
That's awesome,
It was it was something interesting I'd never thought would happen in my Ford Ranger,
man.
especially in that Ranger.
Yeah, and then that Ranger.
But yeah, John Vic though, he's a good guy. Our parents divorced.
No, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Our parents, I won't put it like all out there, but yeah, yeah. Melanie and John are no longer together.
Wow.
Yeah, that just happened like in the last like 4 months. So.
Yeah, things happen, man.
Things happen.
Things do happen. I
Well,
mean,
I think it was one of those things too. I think it was fun while they were younger, and then after living with each other for a while, and
yeah.
I mean, her kids are really like far away from here if you think about it. I mean, Hamilton ain't far, but it's a far drive.
It's a pretty good drive. Yeah, I go
Yeah,
out there to visit my brother often.
yeah. Oh yeah, your brother lives up there. Yeah, I
Yeah, he
forgot
does.
about that.
I have most of my family lives up there now.
Were
Like
you originally
on my
from
dad's
Hamilton?
side. No, no, no. I was born in Russellville.
Okay,
Born
but
and
your
raised.
parents lived in
My yeah,
Hamilton.
my dad was raised in Hamilton.
Okay, because I remember like briefly remember. I mean, I'm talking about like I was in first grade and Patience and them was all, just a grade above me.
Yeah.
And I remember like them saying they just moved from Hamilton
Okay,
back in the
well,
day.
I think we lived up there like in I want to say Vina or Red Bay or something
Is it
like
like
that.
Hodges? Is that what it's
We
called?
lived somewhere up there whenever
Okay.
I was like a baby, and then our house burnt down, and we ended up moving down here, and we lived in Cowboy's old cabin.
Yeah, I remember the cabin days.
Yeah,
Remember
we
the
was
bus turning around and getting stuck one time up there.
yeah, man. We'd sit out there on an apple tree and like go the honk honk at the truck drivers when they passed by.
Yeah, that was and then y'all lived a couple other places too, didn't you?
We lived there. We lived at a trailer pretty much right across from where I live now.
Yeah, that's where y'all first lived when y'all moved down
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
In a little, I call it the trailer park because I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah.
But there was like a couple little older trailers back
Hmm.
there. Yeah, I remember that. And then now y'all moved to Cowboys, and then to where y'all are
Well,
at
we
now.
actually lived at Cowboys first before we moved into that trailer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then we moved into that trailer and then moved to where I live now.
Yeah,
And then now that's just my place.
your crib.
Yep, that is the
You just
Scooby.
inherited it.
That is Scooby House.
Is your mom moving back here?
No, she lives in
I knew she
Tennessee.
lived in Tennessee. I
Yeah.
thought they were moving back here.
No, she was thinking about it buying my aunt's old house,
Yeah,
but then they decided not to go through with it.
they just gonna rent it out or something.
They she Rachel sold it to someone else.
Oh, okay. See, I thought this whole time April and then bought it.
Yeah, I wish she would have kept it in the family, you know.
It's one of those things.
It's one of them things, you know.
But your Aunt Marie lived in that for years,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And then my grandma lived in that house. My hold on. No, it was my great grandma that lived in that house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh Jimmy Dale's mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that she raised them in
In
that
that house.
house. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I always remember like when I think of Grandma Arlenia C, you remember her obviously. She used to go to church up here.
Mama C.
Mama C.
Yeah.
Oh man, y'all
That
knew it,
That woman lived a full life,
She was like
man.
95, maybe.
Somewhere around there, dude.
She was
She
up
lived a
there.
full life, I'm telling you.
I remember one time, I remember it's like my 10th birthday, and she's like, "Go out there in that old truck. You got a present out there." And she had it was in a gift bag, whatever, and it said Gunner on it. And I opened it up, and it was a salt and pepper shaker
Oh
of
wow.
puppies. It was two puppies, and they were a salt and pepper shaker.
Heck yeah.
So I was like, okay, I don't know whatever happened to those things,
Yeah,
but
we actually have a lot of her salt and pepper shakers still
yeah,
at the house. She had there was some little Budweiser salt and pepper shakers, dude, and I wish I could. Oh, I wish I could get those restored because I love Budweiser, man.
Dude.
I mean, if there was any beer, I like Budweiser. You know, I mean, I don't drink too often, but when I do, good old Budweiser.
I remember the first time I ever had a Corona. They was
Yeah.
like, put a lime in it, and I was like, why? And they're like, just do it. It'll be a game
Yeah,
changer.
it's a game changer. It
And I was like,
is.
it was okay. I'm not a beer guy. I
Yeah.
tried. I'm the, just go give me the Red Bull vodka kind of guy. Just
Yeah.
get it over with.
Yeah.
When I was like 22, I went through a bit of a wild phase after, leaving Walmart and
Yeah.
just kind of went to Florence, went to OTR like every freaking
Yeah.
weekend, dude. Oh my gosh.
I think everybody has at this point,
Yeah.
that from around here.
Yeah, we all go through wild phases around here.
Well, we all go through the OTR
The
phase.
OTR phase too,
Yeah.
Wildwood.
Yeah.
I never went to like the Vivian. I never did that or anything.
I liked Wildwood and I liked Flowbama because of the live music.
Yeah, Flowbound.
See, I only liked OTR really because of their Philly cheesesteaks. Shout out to OTR and the Philly cheesesteaks, man. They have the best Philly cheesesteaks in North Alabama.
Really?
I will stand on that till the day I die.
I may have to go there and try that. I've never have food from there.
Hit that place up on a Wednesday at 5
Yeah.
o'clock, bro. Get you a Philly cheesesteak, We order the boom boom sauce with it. Put a little bit of that sauce on the Philly. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Really, I'll have to try that. I've never had their Philly. Like I said, I've never eaten there before. I've only
Oh.
drinked there before
See,
upstairs.
Yeah, I went there to drink, like just to drink and, hang out with the crowd like one time.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this ain't it. This is kind of boring. It's kind of lame. I'm just going to find somewhere else to go. So I found the live music spots and I really resonate with music.
Right.
Live music in particular. There's something different about it.
Of course, yeah.
The composition's right.
Well, it's connection.
Yeah.
It's connection. You get to be around people that are vibing with the same thing you're vibing on.
Yeah.
That's like, Austin Bohannon. I remember going to some of his little concerts he had at Flowbama, and it was always fun, dude. I mean,
Yeah, man.
dude, but I hate it when OTR would have a live band in there. Imagine being in there in a live band. There's nowhere to
There's
walk.
no room.
Oh my gosh, it was terrible,
Shoulder
dude.
to shoulder with everybody, nut to butt,
Yeah, literally,
Awful.
it was literally. Even if you went upstairs, it was still so crowded up there because everybody's just having to go upstairs, and which always upstairs was pretty crowded.
Yeah, I feel like downstairs was more crowded than upstairs whenever I would go. 'Cause we'd get in there and it'd be like 10 o'clock at night, and by 11 o'clock, dude, that thing is packed out.
Literally,
Yeah, like you can't.
I met a baddie up there one time, dude. Her name was Peyton. Sorry, Peyton, but she don't talk to me no more. We never really, talked much after a
Yeah.
couple. It's been about 3 years ago now, but she was so cool. I got to stay the
Word.
night, but I know it was a really fun night.
What-
Anyways,
Was it the bartender?
no, but
No?
I'll show you a picture of her in a little bit. I still got a
Okay.
picture of her, but yeah, it was a fun time back in those days.
Heck yeah, dude.
I've changed a lot since then, but
So, do you remember Joseph Thompson?
yes. Oh
my
God.
boy, shout out Jody. I some too many shout outs. I'm sorry, but these are the people that I like come
Yeah.
up with, So I was in there with Joe, man, and I was at the time I was like I was kind of eyeing this girl and I was trying to talk to her or
Yeah.
whatever. She was a bartender, and I was kind of taking my time. Like every weekend we'd go in there and I'd chop it up with her, and I was like kind of taking my time. Well, we go in there one night and Joe's like, "Hey, this girl's kind of cute, I'm gonna flip a coin to get her number." I'm like, I'm like, all right, what are the chances? 50-50 chance, all right, so he flips it, and he's like, oh, okay. So he walks over there and he tells her, he's just straight up, like, hey, I just flipped a coin to get your number, and she's like, okay, and he's like, yeah, it said that I should get your number, so can I? And she was like, I guess, yeah.
Wow.
And they hit it off.
Did they? Is that his baby mama now? No.
That was a while ago.
Oh, this was young years.
This is a while ago. I mean, we're still young, but this is like,
Yeah.
this is a little while ago. But either way, yeah, man, I was like, wow, it's that easy. But it was never that easy for me. I never had Riz.
I don't know how I made it easy for myself. I just went in there, had a good time.
Yeah,
and
but you
somehow,
got the vibes, man.
Yeah. Plus, like I said, my Red Bull vodka days. I get that in me a little bit. Just kind of, hey,
It hits you different. Yeah.
what up, cuz? That's when I get a little loose more.
Yeah.
I don't miss those days. I do miss it. I don't think I'd go back to start doing it again though.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I don't.
It really took a toll on me.
Mm-hmm. That took a
Really?
toll on my bank account, dog.
Dude, let me tell you about that. Yeah, them drinks were like $8 a piece.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the
I mean,
beers at
I'll still
$5 a
go out every
piece.
once in a while if I want to, but as far as just doing that every weekend again, no. I got a business to run. I'm trying to mature myself.
Hmm.
Maybe get out of Russellville a little
See,
bit.
the beers were like $5 a piece, and I'd spend like $30 on beer, and then like probably $15 on food, if not
Yeah.
more than that on
Oh
food.
yeah.
So I'd walk
That or
away.
go to cookout.
And we'd go to cookout afterwards.
Yeah.
So I'd end up spending like $60 in a night every night. We'd go up there every Friday, and I was just like, man, this is just
Yeah.
taking a toll on my bank account. Like, what?
My boy Logan, shout out Logan Holly. He when he gets a little, loose as well, he'd be like, I'm buying shots for everybody. And he's over there and he'd buy like 10 shots for 10 people. And I'm like, but dude, I didn't care. He had money. I don't care.
Oh,
He
okay.
freaking oops, excuse me. He he was a finance manager at a car dealership me and him worked at in
Yeah.
Hyundai. And so he had money. He had a lot of money. Boy drove a Tesla. I don't want to hear nothing.
Oh yeah. Dude, I met this guy the other day at my job. So I cut grass for a living, right?
Cold water?
Yeah, I'm a lawn care maintenance guy. So I was out there one day on the job, and this dude walks out, and he's like, he looked like he was young, like somewhere around our age. And I was like, yo, and he was helping his girl get into this Tesla, and I'm like, yo, that's your car? And he said, yeah, man, that's my car. And I'm like, paid in full, like you got it paid off? And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, dude.
Heck yeah.
And I was like, well, I said, man, that's awesome. Like, how'd you make that happen, And he was like, well, I'll show you real quick. And he pulls out his phone and gets on Snapchat. This guy has like thousands and thousands of viewers on his Snapchat.
Really? So he makes
And
money off Snap.
yes, he makes money off of Snapchat. And he was like, yeah, man, Snapchat pays out the
Yeah,
wazoo.
it really does. I've seen, no, I mean, not me, obviously. I get like 400, and that's like the max I'll ever get. But
Yeah.
yeah, dude, I see where they pay. I'm trying to think, is it Prize Picks? I'm
I'm not,
thinking of, it's like you bet on sports.
yes, prospects.
Dude, my buddy, it's my buddy's buddy. Literally, he was showing us one day, like, he'll bet on this game, he'll double his money. Buddy made like 16 grand in 2 months.
Wow.
I don't make that nearly in a half a year,
That is
So I'm
crazy.
like, dude, but I don't know how that works with taxes and all that. So
I don't either.
I don't want to mess with more taxes because I
No.
know a little. But
Imagine making 16K in 2 months and then
I
having
know.
to having to pay taxes on that.
But you still have money though. You still have a profit the way I look at it. If you're
Oh
doing
yeah.
another income, if you have another income, that's still, a profit. So
Yeah.
even if you had to pay a tax on it
It's still an
or pay your
income.
other taxes,
That's
one or the other.
that's wild though. But yeah, man, advertisement, dude. If you can advertise through Snapchat, bro, and get your views up on Snapchat and get subscribers,
Right.
dude, they pay out the wazoo.
It's crazy how much they pay on stuff like that. I mean, I wish I could afford to do that. Wait, I said that wrong. You can't afford to do that. I wish I could just do that and it'd be fun.
Hey, you can work towards it. I know for a
Oh
fact.
yeah, 100%. I mean, this
I
stuff is
believe in you.
fun. Thank you. I believe in you too. So,
Man, music is speaking of like, our careers or whatever. I feel like music's not really a career of mine. It's more or less a hobby.
hobby. Yeah.
Yeah. It's something I do for fun, every once in a while. It's not something I've dedicated really a whole lot to. It's because, I
Yeah.
obviously still record on a pair of Apple earbuds in my iPhone.
But you wouldn't know that.
No, you couldn't tell.
I'm serious. Like I can't tell. I mean, I can tell it's like a little bit, of a different audio
It's
source.
not professional, but it sounds
Right.
semi right.
Right.
It sounds semi-professional,
Yeah. I mean, it sounds really good. I say so.
Well, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. I mean, you got to start somewhere. And my thing is, people will sit there and be like, why would you post that? Why would you do this?
Yeah.
I shared today on Facebook the story about me spending, it was like $2,700 on a parrot one time in Florida, Pensacola, and I put it on my credit. Yeah. Don't ever put a parrot on your credit, dude. Talking about going down a lot on points. Yeah. It'll go down like crazy.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
But like I had people like, why would you put that on there? I'm like, because I mean, learn from my mistakes. Hello.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, okay, it's a topic that I had done 5, 6 years ago now. I mean, I'm going to talk about crap like that.
Yeah.
It may sound silly to somebody, but to me, it's like, okay. I mean,
So whatever happened to the parrot, man?
in the ceiling fan,
Oh no.
I'm kidding.
Oh Lord, man. You had
Shaylee Weeding,
yeah.
Her mom got it.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
okay.
I gave it away.
You gave it
I
away?
gave it away.
No way you spent twenty six
I
hundred
had
dollars
to
on a
give it
parrot.
away. I had to give it away.
Wow.
Okay, backstory, and I'm going to talk about this for a moment because it was a wild ride.
Okay.
So, yeah, in 2020, I bought a parrot, literally day after Christmas, in Pensacola, Florida. Came back home. My mom was peed off. I mean, she's like, "Why the heck did you get a bird, especially that expensive?"
Yeah.
So I was like, my mom was like, "I'll kill that bird," because it was so loud.
Uh,
And she's like, the bird's got to go tonight. I mean, this is the first night me back home, 20 years old. I
mm,
said, that's it. I'm out of here.
out.
I took my crap and I got out. Went to, where did I go? Bradley Kirby's house. I went to Bradley Kirby's house that night.
Okay.
Then stayed in Town Creek for a while at a house. Then, you remember Jesse and Jaden Mitchell?
Yes. Yeah.
Stayed with them for a while. I used to work with them, some.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, I'd stayed there for a while, but then eventually I had the bird with me throughout this whole places. And let me tell you, that bird squawked so damn much. But we eventually I went to go move out of the Mitchells and I was like, crap, I don't know what to do with this bird. And actually my grandmother took the bird in for a while.
Oh,
But
wow.
then all of a sudden, like she got COVID, dude, and she just went downhill. And like,
Lori?
huh?
Lori?
No, Lori's my aunt,
Oh,
my
oh, okay.
grandmother, my grandma. She lived in Mount Hope. And no, Laurie ain't gonna have no bird in
Dude,
the
I don't know why
house.
I always thought Lori was your
Really?
dad's mother. I don't know. I mean, I guess I never
Wow.
put two
No,
and two together. But
they're brother and sister, and they're exactly a year apart, born on
oh
August the
wow.
10th, a year
I
apart.
don't know how I never figured that out. Sorry, Lori. I apologize. I'm not calling you old or anything.
Well, a little,
Uh,
but no, my grandma kept the bird for about a year, maybe about a year, and then I had to find somewhere else for it to go because she just wasn't feeling the best, and just trying to take care of a bird, she didn't just feel like it was something she could keep up anymore. Cause that lady, my grandma used to have like 16 cockatiel birds in her house, dude. It was crazy.
wow.
But you never know that. I mean, she kept care of them things all the time.
Yeah.
But then I was working at Walmart still, and Danny Price is her name, and she was like telling me that she had this one bird already or something like that, a parrot, I think.
Mhm.
I think that's what she said. I think she already had a parrot, and she was making this sanctuary in her house. And she was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "I have this bird, and I need to do something with it." She's like, "I'll buy it." Never saw the money.
Oh,
I didn't care though. I mean, yeah, it was a lot of money, but at the same time, I just needed it to go somewhere. So
yeah.
she has the bird now, and then she's had it for about 3 or 4 years, and as far as I know, it's still alive.
Wow.
I gotta tell you something funny, but I can't say it on air right now
Oh, okay.
about the bird
Okay.
worth living. Anyways, so yeah, that was a crazy time. But yeah, my Aunt Laurie though, you was talking about her. What a great lady she is.
She is, man. She is
Yeah,
a great woman.
yeah,
I mean,
she's
she's
very great.
always been the sweetest lady. I mean, we'd always go out there for Halloween, and she
Oh
was
yeah,
so nice. I went out there and cut her yard one summer, and
I remember that.
like help or yeah, I think I was helping cut their yard.
I think you did something like working in the ditch or something.
Working, I was weed eating them and for them a little bit, and I was pulling some weeds out of their beds, trimming some of their shrubs, and
Yeah,
it was my first kind of take at lawn care, but
yeah.
now I know a lot more about it. So
Oh yeah, you like working for cold water?
I do actually.
Yeah,
But
I see him every once in a while around like Publix. I think they were at Publix
yeah,
one
yeah,
day working up
Publix is
there.
one of our places.
Yeah, I saw him there. I see him everywhere. Heck, you see these new houses popping up. You'll see him out there working in the backyard. Moving all that dirt. And
Yep.
I'm like, dude, I know it's so hot out there right now.
Yeah, that's the Migos, man. The Migos do that
Yeah,
work.
yeah. Do they?
Yep, the Migos do the landscaping. We do the lawn care, and well, there's like 8 lawn care trucks, and ours is the biggest lawn care truck because we have the biggest properties.
Really?
We do like large apartment complexes, and
Commercial?
we do commercial properties as well. Uh, we
They
have
don't
like
pour concrete, do they?
yeah, I think they do
They
actually.
do pour concrete. I was
In
wondering,
sometimes.
like scenario situation.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Like when they're the landscaping calls for
Right.
it.
I knew like my boss was saying one time that he had to get his backyard started sinking in where the pool they just got installed a couple. This was like 10 years ago. I don't know how many years ago, but
Yeah.
I remember him saying that they had to get cold water to come in. They had to pour like concrete in his backyard just to keep filling it up for it not to sink anymore. And
Yeah.
so it's grass above everything, but it's concrete, maybe about that far deep.
Oh wow.
So
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they said it was a big job, dude. So,
Yeah, with Coldwater takes on some pretty massive jobs, and I don't agree with some of them. I
hmm
wish they would take on less, because we don't have the workforce that they, we would need to do the jobs
yeah.
efficiently. Like they take on more
Are
jobs,
they a
more
yes
jobs.
people, like a yes
Yes,
job? Yes job. I hate
yes.
people. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
We
we
can
can
do
do
that.
that.
That's
We
fine.
can do that.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
that's fine. It's like,
Heck, am I
hey,
going to do that? I can't get up 70 feet in the air.
they're like we got a crew of 3 people, and they'll be like, okay, we need everything done. We have an inspection next week, and we need you guys to trim all of our shrubs as well. And there's like 150 shrubs across the property, maybe
Yeah.
more than that, and they want us to do it all in one day,
hmm
hand cut, weed eat, edge, go through the beds, get all the weeds out, spray
Right.
everything. And it's like, come on, man, 3 guys, you think we can do that in one
hmm
day? What are you
It's
smoking on?
crazy. Yeah. I don't understand that, but I'm going to change the topic for a moment. So, I kind of made the post the other day saying I really want to focus on the town,
Yeah.
the town situation. So I'll talk about that for a moment, just kind of getting an idea of what you think about this.
Okay.
So my idea is I really want to focus on local talent more than anything. I feel like our town has kind of just really not necessarily let us down on the local artists, but I feel like you have these festivals around here and they're all about being local. They're like, about local vendors, everything's supposed to be, based on people here.
Yeah.
But then they bring people that don't even come around here.
Yeah.
They're not from here. They're okay, granted, American Idol, have fun, blah, blah, blah. But my thing is, you don't include other people in here.
Yeah.
They only focus on the people that's got like a little more likes on Facebook,
Yeah. People that
artist
have
wise.
quite a fan base, they're not
Yeah.
not really interested in building somebody else up there.
Right. And that's my thing is I wish they would literally do a like on the Friday nights when they do these kind of shows, I'm talking about a festival in general.
Yeah.
I wish they would do just local talent, which I know they bring in Austin Bohannon, but I'm like, okay, look, Austin, yeah, bring him again. But okay, he's been there like 3 years in a row. When are they gonna get
Yeah.
some other local people there?
Yeah, man. And I feel like one of my things about it too is they focus too much on the stereotype of this place.
Yeah, and that's the issue I'm having with this. I mean, okay, they're over here like, okay, there's about to be a big election coming up in Russellville,
Yeah.
and there's for the first time ever a Hispanic man running for office for
First
mayor,
time, yeah.
and like people are not happy about it. And I'm like, why? I met this guy in person. His name's Lupe Martinez.
Hmm.
And literally, what a great guy he was. I mean,
Great guy.
very, very, he shook my hand right there. And we didn't necessarily talk politics. He was just introducing me to himself.
Yeah.
It was at a First Baptist Church in Russellville.
Okay. He's a
So,
stand-up guy.
yeah, very nice, very forward with his voice.
Yeah.
I'm wanting to get him on the podcast, I think, and really hear his side.
That would be awesome.
And the thing is, like, I think it was Russell. You're saying stereotype. I agree. I just feel like there's nothing changed, but I feel like the
Yeah.
town has changed.
The town has changed
Yeah,
massively. There's been major changes over the past since we were kids.
and literally, it's the same people in office since we were
And
little boys.
yeah.
And I mean, I'm just like, okay, when are we going to do something different? I'm not saying like come out here and change these policies and no, I'm
Yeah.
not saying. I'm just saying like I don't feel like they
The
take.
reverberation on that.
I know, dude.
Wow.
It's this. Yeah. But it's literally just something that I think would be something we could focus more on my platform. I may not be able to get a festival for them to go to, but I can get them here, introduce them,
Yeah.
and then my idea is there's a stage at Sloss Lake, and I find how much it is to rent it, and I'd love to get a festival, not a festival, just like a concert one night,
Yeah.
and just have literally just local artists just come out there and perform.
That would be
And
awesome.
literally, it's not like a lineup I want to do, just necessarily, hey, if you're free on a Friday night or Saturday night, come out here and perform.
Yeah.
Literally post it on Facebook, hey, this is local artists that, want to kind of get their name out there. If you'd like to come and attend, just get them out there and have a
Yeah.
good time.
No, but another thing with that too is even like with my music, a lot of my songs aren't really kid friendly,
Exactly.
so like a lot of people make music that's not kid friendly.
hmm
And like, how would one go about that I know getting clean songs,
Okay, so if you have a
clean music,
beat,
but
I mean, okay, one way I could look at it is I can get on here. Okay, it's called lip singing, basically. Not gonna lie. like Big X the plug. He'll go, I'm the biggest, the baddest, but he's already got the voice pre-recorded.
Yeah,
So that might be something to look at is getting the songs pre-recorded. I don't know how to go about it, but I mean, be something to look into.
yeah. But like, even okay. So with my style of making music and artistry,
Yeah.
with my vocals, it's hard for me to express myself over a beat without being vulgar.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So
it's
I get it.
and
Then you're not invited. I'm just being honest.
you see, that's the thing about it is that a lot of people are like that too. You
Hmm.
know, it's hard for a lot of people to fully express themselves without being vulgar. And I
Yeah,
mean, I know that that sounds pretty jaded, and pretty like,
I get it.
like some people like you should be able to watch your voice. Like I've been holding my voice pretty well in this
I was about
podcast
to say
so
we
far.
discussed it before the
Yeah, yeah.
podcast.
I've been holding my vulgarity back quite very well this podcast, but when it comes to my music,
Hmm.
like a lot of connecting words,
Yeah.
are like curse words, cuss words, and it's hard for me just personally and a couple of other people that I know to, actually put something out without that in it.
I get it. Then your taste, instead of doing more, going to do a show here in Russellville, yours is more of networking then.
Yeah,
You need to network more,
yeah,
probably. So necessarily, promote what you've already recorded and just really plug it out there. Maybe I don't know any artists that you could send it to or, producers you could
yeah.
send it to. I mean,
Which not to say that I couldn't, because I
right.
definitely could make something with no vulgarity in it. I have
Yeah.
before. I've went through and cleaned up one of my songs and I did a
Right.
performance in Reedtown for I think it was the Reedtown Roundup was what it was
Yeah.
called. That was my first ever performance, and I got out there and I cleaned my song, made it with there was no cuss words in it, and I did that out there. I did
Yeah.
that, and
I remember you. I'll take you home sometimes in Raytown. I think your dad lived over there, didn't he,
yeah, he
for a
did.
while?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
I remember
Me and
that.
him lived over there. Crazy stories from there, by the way, man.
I remember one.
Dude, we was so poor at the time. We were so poor that we were. I mean, he's passed, and this was a long time ago. I can talk about it. We were so poor, we were selling off his medicines that he had for his like pain. He was having a lot of pain at the time, and he was selling off. We was selling off his pain medicines to pay for our bills, and didn't neither of us have a job or a vehicle, so we couldn't get back and forth to work in any way at the time. And that he could walk to Dollar General and got a job, but they hired him for like a week,
Yeah.
and he had gotten a spotter bite on his hand,
Ooh.
and it swelled his finger up the size of like a golf ball, and he couldn't use it for anything, so they fired him. And yeah, they fired him because of it. So we didn't have any other way of making money at the time, and we was literally having to dig through dumpsters for food, man. And not like old
I
food
get
that
what
had
you're
been
saying.
eaten, but like boxed food and canned foods and stuff that had just been thrown out. And like, yeah, we was doing that to live. We was very broke at the time. And I've always, oh, excuse me, I've always told myself I'll never go back to that ever again. I'll
Yeah.
never let myself get in that position ever again. Even though I
Right.
couldn't do much about it at the time, I can definitely
Well,
do something about
life
it now.
happens. Life happens. You can't help
Yeah,
that. I
I
mean, look where you're at now, dude. I mean, you finally got you a car out there, I see, and
I got like three cars,
look at
four
you go.
cars.
Look
I
at
got four
you.
cars.
Oh man, you getting bigger than Tiger King up here, you know?
Yeah, I got four cars, man. One of them was my pop's, and it doesn't run. It was his. It handed down to me when he passed away. Shortly after that, stopped working.
Hmm.
But yeah, the other ones I've gotten on my own. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with that, dude. Congrats. At least you got some vehicles.
I got some vehicles. Yeah, I'm actually looking to trade two of them off right now if I can for a good truck,
Yeah.
or try to sell them and buy a truck.
One or the other.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that. Um, but yeah, going back to what I was talking about, I really just want to focus on making sure that people are noticed around here. I'm tired of them not being noticed because of the people that we have in office. And not necessarily I'm dissing the people in office. I'm just saying I want them to have more of a platform here.
yeah. Interact with the community more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's what I'm working on. So, we have a big Hispanic population, right?
yeah,
And I mean, I don't understand some of it, but hey, I'm not opposed to not knowing. I mean, wait, I think I said that wrong. I want to know more.
yeah, yeah,
And I have a buddy, he's going to be starting to help me, and we're going to like go to some of these festivals and interview people that, to get their opinion on what to do and what they want to see in Russellville, what they want to see, all these just cool little events we can have.
yeah.
And I think it'd be real fun too.
I think it would be, I think it'd be a really cool thing to open up like
I think it could start something here.
I think it could.
Yeah. Not
I think
like
it
bad. I
could.
don't mean it bad. I'm just saying I think it might open up more eyes.
Yeah, open and give more opportunities to people.
And I really like the thing with like Lupe, I think he'd be a really good candidate for Russellville and to represent Russellville. Not saying Mayor Grissom he didn't do a terrible job. I mean he's getting the roads redone and
Yeah.
everything and what else has he done? Okay. Anyways,
What else?
besides the point, I don't know. I just felt like he's always when I met him, like I'll be honest about it. I met him a couple years ago, and I was working for another news outlet in Russellville for a time. I worked there only for like 2 weeks. It
Was
just
it the
wasn't.
Franklin County Times?
No, it was not the Franklin County.
No,
Wait.
Times Daily.
No, 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 no. Press.
Ah,
Anyways,
Franklin Free Press.
you said it, not me. So just point that out there, everybody. I didn't say that. But anyways, yeah, I was working there and Grissom stopped by for something, whatever. And like I said, I don't think he's a bad guy or nothing, but
Yeah,
he didn't like really seem to introduce himself like I would expect a mayor to introduce.
yeah.
Like hi, I'm Mayor Grissom. Thank you for for coming up here and doing what you do. Doing what y'all were doing up here. No, it was how you doing.
Oh wow.
That's it.
Okay.
And then I'm mad at him because he has a dog, and his dog got hit one time. I literally saw his dog get hit in the road, and it literally was leaping all the way back, like on one leg, just leaping all the way back to their house because he lives literally in downtown Russellville.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I've got to get a hold of that dude because his dog literally hit, never got nothing. I've called that number that they got, never heard from him.
Wow.
I know the dog's still alive. I saw it not too long ago, but I guess it limps now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so well, yeah, I'm looking forward to making something out of this, and it's going to be, my podcasts are going to be a bit different because I'm putting this with the Stay in Your Lane show, but I'm going to have some '80s nights going on, so we're going to have fun with music as well on here.
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah, I did an '80s not too long ago, and it was really fun. But I kind of want to do that still because I'm still a radio jockey,
Yeah.
but I also want to kind of do more sit down stuff too,
Yeah.
and I think that's kind of where I'm lacking on, getting stuff for podcast is I'm not bringing people on and I need to have people on.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of 80s, man,
Ooh.
I actually made a song, I remixed a song by Rick James.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good, dude.
Give it to me, baby, man.
Yeah.
That was, I had so much fun with that song.
Yeah, that was really good.
It was so fun. And I just kind of let it go,
Yeah, that sounded good though.
It was,
But
it was very fun.
well, Nathan, Scoob, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast today and really introducing yourself to our local people here in whatever land you want to call this, Newburgh land.
Well, I want to thank you so much for having me, man.
Yeah,
this has
man.
been fun.
This is fun. Like I said, I needed this. I needed to have
Yeah,
communication.
this has been
So,
fun. And I'm definitely willing to come back again if you're willing to have me.
yeah, dude, you're welcome back anytime. So, all right, man. Well, I'll see you later, brother.
Hey, we'll see you later.
Yeah. Deuce. And we're done.